Delicious cannelloni, ricotta and meat. Stay tuned for the recipe. Hello everybody, this is Alessandra. Welcome to my home, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making cannelloni. One of my family favorite dishes, and it's so easy to make. Of course, it's a small amount. Usually I triple and quadruple for when we have gatherings. So don't get overwhelmed. The table looks full, but I'll go step by step. First thing, we're going to be making the tomato sauce, and I have the passata di pomodoro mutti, is one of my favorite, a small onion, and of course the extra virgin olive oil and lots of basil. Then we're going to saute the meat. So I have chopped meat. My kids yell at me, it's called ground beef, but to me it's chopped meat. Chopped meat, a small onion, extra virgin olive oil, and white wine. And then I love to use the tubes already pre-made. They don't need any boiling. We'll just stuff them. Stay tuned. You're going to love it. It goes so quick. It's amazing. And then for the filling, we're going to have ricotta, mozzarella, an egg, salt, pepper, lot of Parmigiano Reggiano, and then the cooked meat. So let's move right over to the stove and let's get started. Let's go ahead and add the olive oil. Now the next thing is going to be add the onion in. Add the onion, and what you want, low medium heat, because you want to sweat the onion but not burn it. Sauteing beautifully. Just do this couple minutes. Make sure you don't burn it. To facilitate opening the mutti, give it a good shake. You know, the ones that watch me all the time, you know I love, si deve soffriggere, si deve tirare. So just let's add a little bit at a time of the passata right in. Just like this. See that? You hear that? Even the oil changes color. Now go ahead and add the rest in. The mutti passata is very thick, so I'm going to fill it up 3/4 of the way and add it to the sauce. Also, the sauce needs to be a little liquidy because the shells, we don't pre-cook them, so the sauce needs to be wet, so like that it cooks the shell. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think you know what I mean. Give it a good shake so you could see that it's all diluted, and let's go ahead and add it right in. Bring it to a boil, lower your heat, wooden spoon right across, place the lid on so the steam could escape. That's a secret to an excellent sauce. Let's get the meat ready, so I'm gonna add some extra virgin olive oil. My meat is lean and it's grass-fed beef. So I'm going to set just a couple tablespoons. I'm going to go ahead and add the onion. You want the heat on medium. Okay, again, don't burn that onion. You just want it to saute it. The chopped meat goes in. Now take a look. I'm using a flat cucchiarella simply because it breaks up the meat nicely. Like this. See that? Just keep pushing down like that. And so the meat doesn't stay so thick. Let's go ahead and add some salt, some fresh cracked black pepper, and go ahead and keep stirring till it's cooked through. This part, you probably want your heat on high simply because the meat sometimes releases a little bit of water and you want it to cook fast. And you want it to be nice and hot before you add your wine. Bella sfumata di vino bianco. Here we go. Let's go ahead and add some white wine. Let it evaporate. Meat is ready. Now let's let it cool down completely. Let's add the salt, but I want you also to come closer because you'll see that the sauce is almost ready. It's been cooking for about 40 minutes, I'm going to say. So go ahead, add the salt, and now I'm going to also add some basil. There it goes. Now, the basil, il basilico si deve stracciare con le mani. You got to rip it apart with your hands. That's for the best flavor. And it goes right in. It's got to be ripped apart and give it a good stir. Now, let me taste the sauce and make sure that the salt is right. A true Italian could drink the stuff. All the freshness of the tomatoes and the basil in it tastes so much like summer. Now, I do want to, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but the mutti tomato, if you're using a passata that's a little bit more liquid, don't add too much water. I keep using the same thing because you get used to what you have and you know exactly the amount to put in. Let's get the ricotta and the meat all together ready for the cannelloni. In a larger bowl, we're going to add the ricotta and the mozzarella that's cut a little large because I had one of my daughters do it. So let's pray that it works. You want little, yeah, I'm looking at you. Yeah, stop laughing. This one, the one that cut the mozzarella, not, you want little small pieces like this, little small cubes. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it right in. And then the cooled meat. Okay. Let's grate some Parmigiano Reggiano right in. I love this thing. You put it right over your bowl and look at this, and it doesn't move. And you could grate. Now, when you think you grated enough, add it a little bit more. Just can never get enough Parmigiano. The black pepper, freshly cracked, is always makes a big difference. Okay, and now we're going to add the egg. Let's go ahead and mix it all together. Of course, if you're making large amounts, you just got to double up the recipe. To me, this is the ingredient that pulls this dish together, and that's nutmeg. Don't buy already ground nutmeg. Get your little nutmeg nuts like this. Is it called the nuts? I'm not sure. But here's a little nutmeg, and you just go ahead and grate it right in. A little bit goes a long way, so be careful. Of course, taste it before you add the raw egg, or I remember we always tasted it with raw eggs. It's always been okay, but just to be safe. So, perfect mixture. You could tell it's the perfect balance between ricotta, mozzarella, and the meat. See that? That's exactly how you want it. I want to talk about the cannelloni. Now, you don't want to attach them so close together because what happens is when they cook, they expand. So if you cook them too close, they really get all mushed up and you don't have a perfect cannelloni. So definitely leave space in between just like this. See that? You want to make sure there's plenty of space. I'm using a plastic piping bag. I love them. They're disposable. They're great. I will attach the Amazon buy on it. I don't make any money, but I think it's such a great find. I used to have the girls with the little espresso spoon fill the manicotti, but when you're making 80 to 100, it gets tedious and tiring. So this is a great way to do it. You don't want to make the cut too big because then it all flows out. You just want it large enough like the opening of the cannelloni. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut right about here. See that? Perfetto. See that? Now, you're going to take your cannelloni and just, I place it down like this. I just find it easier so I could work alone and just squeeze it down till it's completely full. And there you have your first cannelloni. Let's do it again. Just place it down like this. Fill, fill, fill. And you have your next one. If you have strength in your arm, then you could just do it with one hand like this. But I tend to find it a little difficult. Let's go ahead and add the sauce right on top, like this. And you want to be sure that they're fully submerged in the tomato sauce. Make sure that there's no pasta that's not covered by the sauce. It all has to be evenly covered, just like this. See that? Just like this. Go ahead and add the Parmigiano Reggiano, and when you think you added enough, add just a little bit more. That creates a thin crust right on top. Okay. Guardate qua. aluminum foil right on it, and let's get it in the oven at 350. I had them in the oven 45 minutes. Let's take a look. Venite qua, venite qua, venite qua. Guardate che bellissimi. See what I mean about the extra Parmigiano? It creates that perfect top layer that just makes it so good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Like all my videos, the best part is tasting it. I'm going to be careful not to burn myself. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button. To print all my recipes, you simply go to www.alessandrasfoodislove.com. Most importantly, please make these recipes for your family and loved ones. Grazie, arrivederci, alla prossima. Ciao ciao, buon appetito.